Hey everybody, it is Friday. That means it is time once again for my Full Run Friday video. And I know my video yesterday, I hadn't quite yet decided who I wanted to do, but I was going to do my second round of Ghost Rider books, but what happened was I was doing the final order cutoffs for my LCS. I post the final orders on Fridays so that people can get in on the ground floor with the new comics coming out. And I saw that there was one particular book that was coming out. The final order cutoff date is Monday, and that is for the new Darkhawk series. Now, this, of course, is trade paperback Darkhawk Classics. This collects the first 9 issues of the original run of Darkhawk. So with that, I decided, well, what the heck, why not? Let's go through Darkhawk. It's going to be the main Darkhawk series, and I pulled together a couple of peripheral stuff as well. He was in War of the Kings, which is kind of a throwaway event in my personal opinion. It was not one that I was really too pleased with. I thought it was kind of bleh. But yeah, let's flip this camera around and let's go through my Darkhawk collection and see what we got. All right, now my Darkhawk books are not in the long box collection drawers, but they're in short box collection drawers. So there's going to be 2 different boxes. So there will be a pause in this video at some point. I think issue 30 is the last one that's in this, and then I got to jump over to the other box. So let's start off with one of the earlier appearances of Darkhawk, and that was a preview, not a first appearance, but the preview in Marvel Age, number 97. Marvel Age was just Marvel's magazine where they just kind of talked about upcoming stuff, so it was kind of cool. Was happy to grab that one. And then we got Darkhawk number 1. Now, like most people, I do have quite a few copies of this, so, it is what it is. Let me try to back this up a little bit here. All right. And then Darkhawk number 2 with the obligatory Spider-Man appearance. And he kind of took over for a little while Hobgoblin from The Amazing Spider-Man as his main villain. And then we've got issue 3 continuing the Hobgoblin appearance for old Darkhawk. Here, let me back this up a little bit more. Here we go. Savage Steel, one of his original villains. Issue 4. Issue 5, Portal. Now, this was an interesting one. There was an issue of Avengers that this character actually appeared in. And I think this was a second half of that story or something. It did some weird sort of unofficial crossover. Issue 6, one of my favorite covers. His first run-in with Daredevil and Captain America. Now, the early part of Darkhawk, another great cover, he was trying to figure out what kind of a hero he wanted to be. If he wanted to be a hero like Captain America and Spider-Man, where you do the right thing and you put the villains in jail, or did he want to be a hero like the Punisher and put the villains 6 feet under? So he had sort of a moral dilemma there because there'd been a lot going on in his personal life, so he wasn't quite sure what to do. Heart of the Hawk was a really good story, ran for 6 issues. Now I know Darkhawk gets a lot of flack. He's kind of treated as a joke amongst fans, but for me personally, like when I started collecting comic books back in 1990, I was reading Ghost Rider, and of course I got into Spider-Man to an extent. There's a Venom appearance right there, and Darkhawk's head is covered up. That's an interesting story about that as well. But as I was saying, for me, Darkhawk is a character that is kind of near and dear to my heart and in my collection because while I got into comic books with Ghost Rider was what I would refer to as a legacy character. He, wasn't a first-time character. There was a previous Ghost Rider. Spider-Man had been around for years. Fantastic Four had been around for years. Darkhawk would be the first original character that I would get into back in the early 90s. So that kind of gives him a special place in my collection. Now, Darkhawk's face, one interesting thing about his face is they never actually showed what he looked like underneath that helmet. The running theory was, and I think they even touched upon it in the comics, is his face represents the greatest fear of whomever sees his face. So the way I would see his face would be different from the way you would see his face. And of course, you got the long-awaited Ghost Rider team up. So because of that, anytime his helmet was taken off, his head would always be sort of off panel. You would never actually see Darkhawk's face, which I always thought was kind of cool. His first gimmick cover, issue 25, mind-blowing origin finale. And he also had a good long run with the New Warriors, actually. He did a time travel thing. This I thought was kind of cool because then he would end up in 2099, which is great. There's a nice cover there. And then an Infinity Crusade crossover. I think he was part of Infinity War, but didn't really get like an official crossover for it. But that's the first box, so we're going to go ahead and pause this. I'm going to get the second box out, and we'll finish up Darkhawk. All right, so here is the second part of my Darkhawk collection. Then I'm going to have a few other books to show off as well that he was a part of. So you've got continuing with the Infinity Crusade, this lovely little disagreement with the ever-loving blue-eyed thing. And let me put this... Sorry, I didn't put my microphone on, so if that first part didn't sound right, that's why. Anyway, moving on. Savage Steel returns. Now, this was a really fun series to collect. I really enjoyed it, and I still really like Darkhawk. Like I said, I know a lot of people kind of treat the character as a joke, and they make fun over, the first issue being worth all this money when it's, it's a good issue. It's a great cover. To me, it's an iconic cover, but I don't know. I don't understand why it's, why there's so much, I don't want to say hate, but it's sort of like fanboy hate towards him. I did not really care for the new costume that was introduced here. But we're entering the final year of the original Darkhawk run. Some good covers, though. Still had some great art. I'm really glad and was really excited to see that Darkhawk was coming back. I cannot believe that the character has already been around for 30 years. Character that I started with the first issue is celebrating a 30th anniversary. That's crazy to me. But it is what it is. Now we're in the final handful of issues here. Now some of these, I've got multiple copies of these last couple of issues. I need to probably send them in and get them all graded. Because back in these days, when these series were going, the final issues, once the announcement was made that the book was getting canceled, a lot of people had stopped ordering so many copies of them. So the last handful of issues, in particular the final issue, which this is, were not ordered as much, so not as many copies were printed. So they're kind of, sometimes they're a little bit harder to find. I've got a couple of copies of the final issue. And then they did the Legacy, issue 51, which was kind of cool. He got a couple of annuals, teaming up with Iron Man. This was the Assault on Armor City. This went through, they got Iron Man, Darkhawk, I want to say West Coast Avengers annuals. Then there's the 90, which one is this? 93 annual. This is another one of those annuals that was polybagged with a new character. This was Dream Killer, which is probably a character better suited for Sleepwalker than Darkhawk, but nothing ever came of him. Probably one of my favorite covers with a new costume. Annual number 3, or the 94 annual. And then they did the Heart of the Hawk one-shot, beginning the 30th anniversary celebration. So I wound up grabbing a couple of the covers for that. I like that cover a lot. kind of an amalgamation of his original costume and his new costume. Then during the Infinity thing, there was a Darkhawk miniseries. I grabbed this cover because, and I didn't actually get the full series for this because it had Death's Head in it, but the way they drew Death's Head was horrific. I mean, it was almost as if the person who was drawing the book had never actually seen Death's Head before and drew him with a weird demonic face. It was really just bizarre. And then I grabbed this one because it's a Ron Lim cover. And, you know, Ron Lim, I don't think he'd ever done Death's Head before. And I got super excited about it. Then I looked closer at the cover and saw, yeah, Ron Lim had probably never done Death's Head before. And I wasn't quite sure about the character design because on Death's Head's mouth here, he's supposed to have two spikes coming off the sides of his mouth, and he doesn't have those. But, you know, it's the little things. I grabbed this one because it's a close-up of Darkhawk's version of Darkhawk's costume. So, and this would be the final Darkhawk proper book. I should probably grab the other copies of this run because it is a Darkhawk comic book. But he was also in, as I mentioned, the War of Kings, which was I don't even remember too much about this event. I've got the trade for it. I should probably read it, but this was where they kind of put Darkhawk on a cosmic scale, and I'm still not too sure what I think about that. But he had Ascension, which was a 4-issue miniseries where they kind of expanded on the concept and kind of brought up the concept of the Talons. I think is where this got started, and other. They're not Darkhawks, but they're of the same line of warriors or whatever you want to call them. So he got this 4-issue miniseries, and then there was a 2-parter. Yeah, this is a 2-parter, War of Kings Darkhawk, which I was kind of excited about. This. It was nice to see the Darkhawk logo back on the comic stands again. And then there's that one. I also like that cover a lot. And then that would be pretty much my full run of Darkhawk. And there you go. That is my Darkhawk collection as it stands. Now we're getting an additional, I think it's a 5-issue miniseries, where we're going to be introduced to a new character taking over the Darkhawk mantle, which probably means that the Darkhawk armor is going to look different. It kind of seems like it's character specific, which I think would actually be kind of cool. Where if we get somebody who isn't Chris Powell becoming Darkhawk, then the armor modifies slightly. They get different abilities, as pertains to, when it has a new person that gets a hold of the amulet. I like that idea. So if that's what the deal is with this new Darkhawk series, I'm all for it. It's going to be kind of weird not having Chris Powell as Darkhawk, but again, I'm really eager for it. It's written by Kyle Higgins, who did an amazing job on the Power Rangers comics, so he knows how to write this sort of stuff. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, that was my Darkhawk series. I am glad to actually get one of these done for a change underneath a half an hour. That's pretty cool. I appreciate everybody for watching this week. Thank you. Thank you for your continued support. I hope you enjoyed my videos. Again, I've got a 3rd series that I'm going to be starting here pretty soon. I actually might talk about that in more detail on my weekly haul video next week. And then next Friday, another full run Friday. So again, thanks for watching. Please hit that like button. It's very much appreciated if you can just click that like. Give me a comment down below. Share the video, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will see everybody next week with a new weekly haul video. Have a great weekend, everybody.